Today we're featuring a watch brand that I love to feature here on my channel. They are called Knot, K-N-O-T. They are located in Japan. All of their watches are made in Japan using Japanese materials. And in this case, we're looking at their chronograph. This is a special limited edition that they just recently came out with. It has a mosaic dial that has inlaid mother of pearl. It is gorgeous. It also features a case that is finished in a factory that does finishing for Grand Seiko, that actually produce cases for Grand Seiko. All of this for around $1,000. It also gets a Seiko movement. It's a chronograph. It's an automatic chronograph, so you're talking about a pretty high-end movement as well. Let's flip the camera and take a look at an amazing chronograph at an amazing price, the Knot Chronograph Raiden dial. I'm always very excited to feature a Knot timepiece here on my channel. I am really excited about this watch because of the dial. This is the third chronograph that I have featured here on my channel, and this probably has the best dial. The last one that I featured had a platinum dial. It was a platinum leaf dial. I'll throw a link up to that watch. Then I had their standard version, which basically had a standard black dial, which looked really, really good as well. However, this is definitely the most special dial from Knot that I have featured here on my channel. So there's a few reasons why Knot in general are very special watches. Of course, I've mentioned this in every other video that I have done for them. Their cases are made in the same case manufacturer as Grand Seiko. So you're basically getting Zarasu polishing. The brushing on these watches is phenomenal. I'll do close-ups of everything so you could see what I'm talking about. It is extremely crisp. Beautiful finishing on these. You can get a bracelet for it. So the bracelet, I don't believe, is made in the same sort of manufacturer as this case is. However, it's a very nice bracelet. The straps that they make are very interesting. They're all made in Japan, handmade in Japan. So this is essentially a denim strap with some raw leather. It looks really cool, so I really love this strap. But the dial is where it's at. They have plenty of strap options, but it's the dial and the case that make this watch very, very special. Now I'm gonna start out with price, because the price on this watch is phenomenal. It's $1,094. They've actually lowered the price on this watch over the past few years. So that's what they have it for right now on their website, and I think that is insane. The dial here is essentially Urushi lacquer. So if you're not familiar with that, that is a technique of making a lacquered dial. But what they do here is they put Raden. So it's R-A-D-E-N. That's what they call it, Raden dial. So R-A essentially means in, I believe, Japanese, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it means shell. And then Den means inlay. So what they do here is they take pieces of shells, so essentially mother of pearl, and they inlay it into the dial. And they use a pattern that makes it look like a fume pattern. And they make two different versions. So they make a colorful version, and then they make a more monochrome version. This is the monochrome version. So this is essentially a black dial with mother of pearl. So this is a black mother of pearl. You get a little purple, gray, black, but not too many bright colors. The other version has bright silvers, purples, pinks, very, very different from this. But it also gets that fume pattern. So the outer area of the dial is actually much darker than the center area of the dial. Even those subdials get that inlay. So even the chronograph subdials get that inlay. If you look closely at this dial, the hands are perfect. They are beautiful. I don't know where they're getting their hands. I don't know what manufacturer are making them, but when you look at them very closely, they are beveled and really nicely finished. You have rings around those subdials. Those are very high polish, and then you have applied indices. I don't believe this gets lume, so we won't do a lume shot towards the end, but that's understandable because this is really sort of a dress chronograph. It's not really a sports chronograph. The case is gorgeous. So you have polishing on the top of the case. The bezel is polished and the top of the case is polished. You have a little bit of a sort of a line of polish right there, and it transitions over really nicely. Turning the case on its side, you have a beautiful brushing. You also have double drilled lugs, just in case you want to put on a strap or a bracelet. Turning it over, you get that same finish on the other side of the case. There's a very sharp transition, not physically sharp, but visually sharp transition from polishing to brushing. It is beautiful. And then the back of the case and the case back are all polished. Now, one of the other very important things about this watch is that it is powered by a Seiko movement. So not only does it have a case that is finished by Grand Seiko, well, basically the manufacturer that produce Grand Seiko cases. And I get into arguments with people over this all the time. Grand Seiko don't make all of their cases. A lot of them are actually sourced. So obviously they're very heavily involved in the manufacture of their watches and their cases, but Grand Seiko cases and a lot of their finishing is done out of house. So that is something that people should know. I think a lot of people don't know that. So essentially you're getting the Grand Seiko style case, we'll call it that, and then you're getting an NE88 movement, which is a column wheel chronograph that is actually made by Seiko. So you find this in the Speed Timer automatics and other watches like that. High-end chronographs from the brand Seiko, not Grand Seiko. It's a mechanical movement. Actually, Seiko just recently, or Grand Seiko just recently came out with their first mechanical chronograph. Up until now, they've only had spring drive chronographs. Actually, I own one of those. Really beautiful watches. However, they don't really make a lot of mechanical chronographs. If you wanted a Seiko mechanical chronograph, you had to buy it from Seiko. You could not buy one from Grand Seiko. So this is sort of a mechanical version of a Grand Seiko style watch, which is pretty cool. And it has Knot on the dial. So Knot is a Japanese watchmaker. This is a Japanese watch. It's made in Japan. Let's quickly do some measurements. So this is about a 40 millimeter watch. It actually says 40 in the name, so it's 40.1. So just about 40 millimeters. I always say that the crown is a little bit small. I wish that they made a crown improvement on here, a bigger crown. It would make a lot more sense. It's almost smaller than the pushers. So it's a very, very small crown at 4.5 millimeters. If they put a 6 millimeter crown or 6.5 millimeter crown on here, I think it would look really, really good. And it would fit the case a little bit better, overall change the look of the watch a little bit. But that being said, I don't think it doesn't work. I think it looks good either way, but I would like to see it a little bit bigger. The lug to lug is 48.1 millimeters, and it is on the thicker side. You do have a sapphire crystal. It's a little bit raised, 14 millimeters, but not terrible considering that this is a chronograph. I believe it gets 100 meters of water resistance. And like I said before, the price on here is just about $1,100. That is very, very good considering the amount of watch that you're getting. On my wrist today, I have a Seiko product. This is the SPB 253. This is the black edition. It's a limited edition of like 5,500 watches. Really, really cool. Very nicely made as well. Just a great strap on here. I really like the color combination, the brown, the orange, and the black. Works really well. Well, there it is. There's the Raiden on my 7.5 inch wrist, and it looks phenomenal. This is just a good looking watch, and that dial is to die for. It is amazing. It really is nice. I have the chronograph running there. Everything runs really smoothly, as you would expect from Seiko. You know, obviously the chronograph action, very, very good. You know, you never can complain. Seiko make a great movement. They are workhorse movements, and obviously really reliable as well. The date window here is a silver background. This is what they do on all of their chronographs. It almost looks like it is layered, but I don't believe it is. It looks really good. I really like the date window that they use. Everything about Knot, they do very, very well. Obviously, they are a Japanese watch manufacturer, and they use really high-end components to make their watches. So, you know, here you go. You're really getting a high-end chronograph for about $1,000. There's really no way of getting around that. That's what it costs. So that is not a lot of money for what you're getting. Well, there you go. I am always excited to bring you guys a new Knot chronograph or one of their automatic time-only watches, their field watches. All of their watches are really very, very well made, and at an excellent price considering the manufacturing that's going into these watches, the movements that they're using, especially their chronograph. And around $1,100, there's no chronograph out there that you're going to be able to get with this level of finishing anywhere. The hands, the case, the dial, there's no place out there that you're going to find a chronograph at this price, at this level. No place. It's amazing. Anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think about this watch. Obviously, you know how I feel about it. I continue to feature them here on my channel because I think they make very high quality watches for great prices. But tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next video.